Okay, welcome back to State of the Nation. We're very, very happy to welcome our next guest. Kate Monroe is a GOP candidate for the California District 49. She's a retired United States Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. She's also a wife, mother, veteran, activist, business
Yep,
owner.
yep.
And I must say, Kate, welcome back to the program. And last time you were on, you kind of teased us with what you were going to do. Well, now we know exactly what you did. You went to the
Yeah.
border, you took it upon yourself. For those of you who don't remember, there was a video going around on the news a couple of weeks ago that was showing all these Chinese, mostly Chinese, coming through right around a fence opening on our southern border. Well, Kate Monroe went down there, spent her own dollars on razor wire, and she sealed that hole up. Kate Monroe, first of all, thank you for doing that. And secondly, welcome back to the show. How are you? How's things going with you?
I'm good. I'm stoked. We've been down two or three times now, and every time we go, we're joined with more and more veterans, more and more, everyday civilians that want to get out there and help secure the border. So I'm feeling good. I'm stoked.
Yeah, that's
Excellent.
great.
Well, what's it like dealing with razor wire? I was watching you on your social media. By the way, you should definitely follow Kate's IG. If you're not, you're missing out. But I was watching you guys do that. It's good to see more people joining you also. I've noticed you've made subsequent trips. You've got a larger
Yeah.
group of people with you. But tell us a little bit about what that's like.
Well, you never know what you're going to be met with, first off. We typically go by and run by the migrant camps where they rally them all together so that they can be picked up and taken anywhere that they want to go. Most of them are going to the East Coast. Like, for instance, we talked to three young Colombian women yesterday, and it took them 3 days to get here. The cartel brought them to the border. They walked across. They were met with Border Patrol. Immigration was going to pick them up, already had plane tickets for them to fly to New Orleans and meet their friends. So when that's the first thing you see during the day, it gives you a lot of peace about what you're going to do after to go secure the border. And it's not easy, because people drive by. You never know, because you can see the cartel about 100 yards off in their vans just watching you with binoculars. So it's not necessarily the safest thing to do. I don't recommend that people do it without protection. It's not something that everybody should be doing. But certainly the armed veterans, that's probably the good guys to get out there and do it. But it's a little nerve-wracking. I have to say, I take a body man out with me, Brett,
Yeah,
who is the CEO of
definitely well said.
Iron Goat
So
Defense,
definitely well
Iron
said.
Goat Defense. He goes out with me and does a good job protecting me, but it's crazy. I mean, as you can see, it's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. Showing Kate is showing us her battle wounds. So yeah, I mean, because you were wearing gloves when you were putting that razor wire up, but apparently that razor wire cut through the gloves. Is that what happened?
Well, sometimes you take your gloves off and you're just filming stuff, but you don't always realize how close you are to the wire. I mean, I got it
Yeah.
stuck in my pants, and when I got it stuck in my pants and jerked back, I nearly sliced my finger off. So it's
Ouch.
I wouldn't suggest people try to cross over the razor wire that we put up.
Yeah. And as far as, so you say you're being watched from the other side. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's operatives from cartel people maybe seeing people over, especially in these getaway zones, right? So
Yeah.
are you finding, clearly that's a
Now
little
there's
bit
no point
dangerous. Are you finding any like
fast food.
countermeasures or resistance or anything like that?
They don't typically resist us. I
No,
mean,
it's
we
the
don't
faster the food, the more
try
expensive
to
the food.
stop the people that are crossing.
Should be the
Yesterday,
opposite.
just before we got to this third hole that we went to patch, 30 people passed by us as we were
$1
driving
drink.
out, carrying their luggage and their bags and everything, because they had just crossed over about 5 minutes before. And it's just
$1
absolutely
fries.
crazy. When we got there, we saw how they got over. They throw a blanket over the razor wire because nobody does what we do. They don't really go put it up. They don't do any infrastructure. They just lay the razor wire there. So some of the guys showed us how easy it was to cross over. And if you guys want, I'll show you what we found on the other side of the border. But it's nerve-wracking what we found, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Well,
what was interesting about your video was at one point in the video, the first trip over,
Kate
uh,
keeps texting me
you're
about
saying,
how upset
"Here
she
I am in the
is.
United States." You take
How
two
upset
steps
she
over.
is.
Now
She's
I'm
like,
in
"I'm so
Mexico.
bummed out."
Now I'm back in the United
So
States.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, you
so
crossed the border
upset.
2 or 3 times in the span of about 30 seconds.
Leave me
That's
alone.
how easy it is
I
to
know,
get
leave me
over.
alone. own.
So what
'Cause
did
she
you
wants me
find
to
at the border that should
view
concern
you
all Americans
badly
beyond
so that she
30
can
people that
be
passed
in
you as
complete
you were
control
going?
of me.
Yeah, well, I have a bunch of show and tell, like I said. So the first thing that we find down there, this actually got pulled out of one of the tires in the caravan of people we took down. They make these out of rebar, and they're very sharp, and they're meant to impede our efforts to get down to the border. We now know we got to stop and get out and do a sweep and a check. Last time we went out, we found about 15 of these buried in the dirt. So you have to be very careful. So they're trying to stop us. They're not doing a very good job though. But we found a bunch of passports. So here's one from Pakistan. Here's one
And then she sent me
from
the
China.
definition.
I'm sure there's no ill will there at all.
That's Kate.
We got
all of that is
Turkey,
Kate,
Yeah.
She's projecting.
Ethiopia.
I'm
I mean,
like,
I have a
that's so
stack of these
hypocritical.
things. They're littered
know
all
who
over
Jesus
the other
hated the
side of the
most?
border because what they've learned is they need their passport to fly to Mexico. But they don't want to have their passport on them when they cross because then they can't get asylum because they're not coming from somewhere where they would be owed asylum.
Yeah, and-
I
and
actually
my
sent these
advantage is she
passports
thinks I
to my
don't know
buddies
shit
and they're
and
running
will
them
take
right
her
now
side
against the
on
terror
everything.
watch list. So it'll be very interesting when I get that news
So,
back.
I have to.
Wow.
Probably gonna go in and get
Wow,
your
that's
camera.
amazing. You would think that if this
I
country
haven't
even
told her
cared,
about it.
they would go and collect all of those. Like just a little border patrol trip over the border, collect all those up, and give them some researcher or law enforcement person for analysis. But no, we've got citizens going out having to do that right now. Okay, our veterans are having to go out and do that right now and use their own resources to make that happen. Let that sink in while we take this brief headline from today's News Talk TNT.
Headline. TNT Radio News.
Big news.
Let's go!
For TNT, this is James O'Neill. During a speech in Texas, Donald Trump declared the U.S. is at war at the
guy that
border
was
due to
interested
Joe
in the car
Biden's
a while
invasion,
ago said,
highlighting an
"Are you
influx
still
of
looking to sell
military-aged
for
men from various countries, including individuals from jails in the Congo. The Labour Party has criticized the UK government for an alleged £4.3 billion overspend on accommodation and support for illegal immigrants, amounting to £15 million daily on hotels.
Are you enjoying listening to TNT Radio? Do you think we're doing a good job? Then please let us know. Why not leave us a like or a positive review or comment on Facebook, Gab, or Getter? Help us get the word out as we cover the biggest topics of our time on today's News Talk, TNT Radio.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, our guest is Kate Monroe here at State of the Nation. Kate, what do you think about that? I mean, the fact that you're trying to run a campaign right now. You're a candidate for Congress in District 49, and you're having to go out and physically
let's say
secure the
do
border,
one more month
use your own
at
personal
VETCOMM,
resources and
and
those
then
of your colleagues to do this. I mean, this
exit.
is just, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I feel like I'm not in America, Kate.
I feel the same way. It's very frustrating. I mean, I think if you look at the juxtaposition between me and
Well,
everyone
she-
else that's
I
running,
mean, it's a-
right? They stand for
it's a
things.
publicly
Someday
traded
when they
company,
get there, they get
kinda
elected,
have
they'll
to.
actually do something about it. They are spending
doesn't
time
know
and
it's gonna be the
resources
last
buying
month.
TV ads and sending hate mail,
just
you know,
walk
to
out.
all of the voters. In fact,
I have
Margarita
to-
Wilkinson actually sent out a hit piece on me that said that I was soft on the border. Now, I don't know if she printed it before or after I went to secure the border, but I couldn't have thought that the
I'm just a
timing of it
regular
was
attendant.
any more hilarious. I mean, I'm thinking that's the best way to blow about 20 grand. Well, you might as well have went and put that money in the shredder.
That's why I don't.
So, I
wanna
mean,
be-
I'm a
she's like,
solution-based
"Everybody's gonna
person.
become
I'm
a
more busy
W2," and I'm like,
protecting
"Oh,
Americans and
I'm
the
out."
constituents of the 49th,
Now
and
I'm
these
double
people
out.
are out, you know, trying to figure out how to send
said
hate
now I'm
mail
double
about me.
out.
So they can do
only
that.
have
I'll
Facebook,
protect
you're
America, and that'll be great.
Wow, unbelievable. She's soft on the border. Meanwhile, she's got stitches in her
wanted to
finger.
retain her.
She's got a cut on her forehead. She's pulling out spiked rebar from tires while she's going to secure the border. Unbelievable. Kate, let me ask you this, because we were just talking to one of our colleagues before you came on, and I asked him a very pointed question. I said, have people woken up to just exactly how bad it has gotten? He seemed to be a little bit, well, you know, sometimes most people don't wake up until the blood hits the streets. I don't know. But on an anecdotal side, it looks like a lot of people are getting very, very angry. You throw in the Lake and Riley murder, which is just one of many, it should be pointed out. But this one's really caught the attention of the American people. And also, by the way, I think you can, Lake and Riley's murder at the hands of an illegal immigrant from Venezuela that crossed into El Paso during Biden's reign of error. I think that's what got Biden to the border. I think that murder is the only reason he went there. The governor didn't meet him. The lieutenant governor didn't meet him. The Border Patrol Union chief won't meet him. He's out there with them. I mean, what do you think that people are getting really furious about this, like I do?
I think that people are furious about it. In fact, the reason that we went back out on the same Thursday that the presidents both went to Texas, we wanted to say it's one thing to go and look at the border. I think everybody knows it's open. It's a whole nother thing to go secure the border. And we went this third time because of what happened to that young woman. I'm the mom of a 7-year-old little boy. And I will tell you that I would cut my finger off to protect him and all the other children in our country from the onslaught of migrants, sex traffickers, terror, drugs, and everything else that comes across our border. It's absolutely appalling to me what's going on. So as far as people being woken up, the cool part about us going viral, Newsweek even did a piece on it. We were on every single media, basically around the clock, going like nuclear viral. So there's no way that everybody just missed it. And I think if you're being honest with yourself, no matter where you stand, you want your kids to be safe, and they were safer under Trump. They were safer. Our economy was safer. Everything was better. Just look back there and let's do that again. More of that, less of this BS that we have now.
Yeah, I don't recognize the country for what we have right now. I mean, we've seen the potential for it to turn into something like this, but the fact that it got here this quickly, it's degraded this much in 4 years is staggering, even to those of us who've kind of been, protecting against it, warning against it. It's just, it's sort of the last chance.
That young woman's blood is on Joe Biden's hands.
Yeah.
You have made our nation a sanctuary country. This is on you. You shouldn't even run again. America should be hysterical about this. This is on you, Joe Biden. You are responsible. You go talk to this family because this is on you. You were so desperate to unwind everything Trump did. You did that at the expense of people's lives. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, and we can talk about Lake and Riley, but why don't we talk about the 300,000 Americans that have died because of fentanyl that is being pushed over our border by the Sinaloa cartel with strong financial ties and support from the CCP. It's absolutely staggering. Biden won't say a damn thing about China, and I don't know if this sounds hyperbolic or not. I don't much give a damn, but Joe Biden is an asset of the Chinese Communist Party, and he has made money from the Chinese Communist Party. And to that, he's also made money from the drug cartels because of his ties to the CCP. I'm disgusted by it. It's just outrageous that this is happening.
Oh, I feel exactly the same way. I know we're not supposed to cuss on the news, but I think you guys will live. I have been telling people that Joe Biden is like an ass puppet. Every other country has their hands so far up his ass, talking out his mouth, that he can't even think for himself. And God forbid they do that without providing him ice cream. We are an embarrassment on the world stage. What we allow in our country, the greatest nation on earth that people apparently want to come to get asylum from, we're okay with drugs pouring over our border, terrorists coming across our border while 3 world wars are breaking out. And I'll tell you something about China. I went down to our transit center. I encountered 4 Chinese men who are about 25 years old who spoke good enough English. And I said, "How did you get here?" And I meant right there where we're standing. They said, "Oh, we flew to Mexico and we walked across and then you brought us here." I said, where are you going?" "Oh, we're going to fly to New York." I said, how are you going to get there?" "Oh, you pay for it." I said, "Did you come here for asylum?" They said, "No, we came here for your money." We are a laughing stock. We are importing people from these countries with intention. It's disgusting.
Yeah, they just had a singular bust in California, fentanyl find, and it was a pile big enough. I kid you not. This is what it is in the headline: a pile of fentanyl big enough to kill everyone on the planet twice.
Yeah.
That's what's going on, and an $86 billion a year human trafficking ring also on top of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talk about fentanyl. Like I was under the impression before I walked the Tenderloin up in San Francisco, I thought fentanyl was like expensive. It's $5 a hit.
Oh,
There's
it's
no
gone down.
barrier to entry to that drug. I mean, and we're pouring it over here by the truckload. And how's it getting here? Like, we're not doing a very good job checking if that much of it can get over here. How much of it do we not find? Well, I'll tell you, a ton.
Yeah, and I mean, another thing
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah,
powerful.
kidding.
metric tons, metric F
Yeah.
tons,
F
and
tons.
it's gone down to $1 a hit, and even 25 cents a hit in some cities where it's completely flooded. So I mean, literally, you could find a quarter on the ground and then go kill yourself on fentanyl. It's like that at this point. I mean,
It just made
it's-
me nauseous hearing that. It gave me goosebumps. Like, that is so such a sad state of affairs for our country that not only do we allow it, we invited it.
And you know,
We
Kate, the
invited
thing
it
is,
in. It's like hiring a murderer to come into your house and then
Yeah.
be like shocked
Well,
that they killed everybody. I
for
mean,
politics,
it's
and,
crazy.
and you know what, Kate, the thing is about this, and Hesh, the thing that drives me so nuts about this fentanyl crisis, beyond the obvious, is they're not doing this to make a buck. They're doing this to destroy America. And China is
Kill
very,
Americans.
yeah, they're doing it to decimate our country, and by God, they're pulling it off. We were talking with, as I mentioned, a colleague before you came on, and Hesh and I we were all kind of on the same page. This is a communist takeover of America, and when you say that to a lot of people, they'd look at you, they'd roll your eyes, and they'd laugh. But I mean, the evidence is everywhere. They are encouraging this. The Biden administration and Democrats are encouraging this.
Well, what they want rolling into the 2030 census is Democrat supremacy. It is insidious evil that we are battling. And talk about waking up. You need to wake your friends up. If they're sitting there idly by in some matrix universe where none of this stuff exists, you better wake them up. You better shake them hard and say, "Look around. If you have eyeballs and you have ears, you better understand what's going on and protect your family." Because like I said, I'm the mom of a very little boy, and this SHIT is not going to stand on my watch.
There you go. Well, Kate, listen, God bless you for what you do. And thank you so much. And for what it's worth, and I know I can speak for Hesh when I say this, we are thrilled that that video went viral, your cut finger and forehead notwithstanding. So I'm glad you did that. Now, before we say goodbye to you, where can people find out where you are so they can contribute to you and get more information about Kate Monroe?
If they go to kate4congress.com, that's FOR. I was lucky enough to get the FOR. So kate4congress.com, and I could certainly use any financial support that you have, because March 5th is on Tuesday, so we're running right up against it.
Well, there you go, Kate. We're going to wish you the best of luck. I hope you win that race. I know it's going to be a hard-fought one, but you seem to be the right person for the job. We look forward to chatting with you again, Kate. God bless you, and thank you for joining us today on State of the Nation. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. There she is. That's Kate Monroe.